Hello, how you doing, everybody? Today, I'm gonna make some tags. I'm gonna make some tags for this junk journal that I made. You're not gonna believe. A couple of years ago. This is my third junk journal that I make. And it's for a special person that I follow. So then, his name is Sloan. I hope I'm saying it right because I'm so bad at saying names. Sloan, I'm your fan number one. You know that, right? Okay, honey, I'll make you this one time that you were very sad. You were traveling somewhere. I say, why don't make something for him to write everything that he's feeling right now, right? So I did this for you. I'll show you everything inside later. For now, we're gonna work on the tags. Okay, I'll give a flip through at the end, okay? And right now we're gonna work on some tags that I'm gonna make with all this clothing tags that I have from my kids' clothes. They keep telling me, why you want all this? That's trash, mom, no, that's trash, mom, no. Well, now they bring it to me, and they ask me, my 24-year-old asked me right now that he wants a bookmark, a Gucci bookmark, okay? Because he reads a lot, so every time he gets a new book, he comes to me and asks me for a bookmark. So, and now they bring me their tags. Now I have a lot of tags because now they like it. So we're gonna do some belly bands, some tags, some... This one's gonna have some pages here. So it's gonna be like a junk journal companion. And let's have some fun, okay? Alright. The background noise is gonna be Bose, because why not? She's my girl. And we need somebody making me feel no less lonely, no less crazy talking to you guys, okay?
Close range moves. So it was just even more strange. Like, clearly, this is intentional. They described wounds as almost execution sign. So this is very unsettling for the officers. When they asked Joan, what happened, she actually said that she saw an intruder and they ran off, and she tried to chase after them, but they had gotten away. Well, then, one officer continues to interview Joan. The other goes to tell Elizabeth that her stepdad had been shot, and she looked at him with just kind of this cold look, and she just asked, did he die? And the officer was very shaken up by this. Nothing was acting, was acting in a way that was in alignment with what happened. And the investigation ends right there. Now, of course, people all react differently to grief, death, whatever. Some can react in a calm and detached way, but there were just too many factors at play here for the officers to not think that something else had happened that was saying. So it's very important for them to try to get as much information in the next 48 hours long. It's still fresh as they can. Now, remember, I told you guys that Joan said she woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, heard gunshots, saw an intruder, and then tried to chase him out of the house, which, okay, sorry, I said I was going to try to stay objective. If my children are in the house and I hear gunshots and I don't have a gun or I don't have the balls to this either, I'm not chasing nobody. Like,
What is that noise?
Honey, shut the door, Joan, sorry, it just, whatever. So she claims there was an intruder, and of course, the first thing the police are going to do is they're going to launch a full-on forensics suite. However, it was incredibly difficult because of the state of the house. Even though David really portrayed this structured, wholesome military family, they had quite a few issues. And, one of them was that the house was in shambles. And look, let me tell you, I'm not a clean girl. I have terrible ADHD. I just, I'm like a tornado. Okay, my shit's all over the place. But their house was pretty extreme. They had dishes piled up with, mold and bugs on them. They had, stuff all over the floor. They had food rotting on the tables and on the countertops. The bathrooms, you could walk to the bathrooms, they were just covered with just junk and anything that you could possibly imagine. The Shannons did not attempt to keep a clean home at all, and quite frankly, they didn't care. They didn't care that their children were growing up in this type of environment, and also, they were having people over, which we'll get into a little more, while there was just, food sitting all over the tables and rotten maggots crawling all over the place. Like I said, I am an ADHD girl. I am a little tornado, but, I try. It's hard to keep the house in order when you were never taught, but I really just gotta say, not to condemn anybody that sucks to clean their house. Look, if it's just you and your partner, and, everything's all messy, all right, fine, y'all get out there. You figure it out later. But, you got kids in the house, and you are living in almost hoarder status. it's actually quite traumatizing for the children. And for some reason, I feel like people don't want to believe that. It's like we live in this world where, like, okay, abuse is, slapping your kids. No, abuse is also making your kids live in squalor for 15 years and normalizing it. So I always like to take a second to say that if you grew up in an extremely disturbingly messy home, your parents never taught you how to clean, there should not be food brought around you and your parent makes you feel like it's okay. All right, so let's
that shouldn't be
college try, guys. Okay. Anyway, this house, it was a forensic nightmare. I mean, there were strands of hair that belonged to multiple sex partners. They even found some bullet casings that were in all of the shit around the house. Now, they assumed that these bullet casings were, pertaining to the murder because they were nearby, but they also tried to match them to some guns that were in the house, and they were not a match. And during their investigation, they did find something else. Massive quantities of sex toys, sexually explicit material, lubricant, and everything debaucherous in the Shannon's bedroom. They said videotapes, magazines, devices, toys, lubricants, condoms, and then on David's computer, they found homemade porn that was starring David, Joan, and then even one of their family friends, Jeffrey, who was later interrogated. Now, nothing in this case is cut dry, but
oh no, Mama, I'm sorry, Mamacita. Mama, I know. Okay, I need help with this baby girl. I need to call her dad and tell him to come get her because I cannot record anything.
What was going on, but this was a little bit of a different case because there's so many people in and out of that house, and there's.
So this is what happened. I stopped talking. She stopped whining.
Of course, they have to collect as much information as possible. Well, that night, Elizabeth and her friend, the 15-year-old.
I'm sorry, guys. She's in heat and she's the baby, so I'm so sorry. I know it's annoying.
Claims that she was asleep in the bed next to David. I don't know how they come up with this stuff, man. She claims she was asleep in the bed next to David. She actually tested positive for gunshot residue. But even though she tested positive for gunshot residue, there was something that was off about it. It was like either the type of residue didn't match the gun, or there was something that just kind of confused the officers in a way. And then also, she didn't have any blood on her. With how messy that room was, Joan should have had something on her, right? So while they're collecting evidence, they start to look at search videos. And this is where Joan admits that they are in an open relationship. She tells the officers how it started, that David had initially expressed interest in, swinging and seeing other people. And she was intrigued by it, decided to try it, and she liked it. And this just really opens up a whole can of worms for the investigators because David was so respected and kind of had this disciplined, controlled, wholesome kind of image in the military. He even had a really high up security clearance. He was very trusted, and they believed he was a certain type of person. And so now Joan is telling them
I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry.
And they also spoke to the neighbors, and the neighbors not knowing as much about their swinging lifestyle immediately started talking about the two daughters. They said that the daughters were absolutely out of control. They were always throwing wild parties. They were indulging in drugs. Sometimes their parents would go away on these little swinger things. The girls would just be at the house throwing crazy parties with drugs galore. And then also, Daisy, their 17-year-old daughter, Daisy was already pregnant and still doing drugs. Now, Elizabeth, the 15-year-old that was listening to music that night at the house, she had been expelled or suspended multiple times from school just for fighting and generally being aggressive. Everybody knew that Shannon's daughters were pretty out of control. By the time they were teenagers, Joan had completely given up on disciplining the girls. And also, mind you, this kind of comes out later in the trial, but I just want to set the foundation. Joan was extremely neglectful of the kids. Elizabeth and Daisy got essentially no attention from their mother. She was very, very male dominated. Early on, when she had the two girls and she was with her first husband, she did give them attention. She did dote on them. She was dedicated to her husband, mostly, and really loved her daughters. They were new, they were hers, but as time went on and Joan wanted to get attention from men, and men were the only thing that made her happy and activated her, the girls really just got thrown to the wayside. So imagine Daisy and Elizabeth, the two girls, 17 and 15, just wanting a little attention from their mom, but mom's in the other room. It's a very disheartening experience. So Joan didn't just give up on disciplining the children. She neglected to take care of them. And as they got more rambunctious, David was in a position where he had to kind of discipline them. So the girls do not take David seriously. He's like, telling them to stay inside. They're sneaking out the window. He's bolting the window shut. And I'm so sorry, but imagine your cuck dad, and that's David was. We'll talk more about it. David, it's a couple. Now imagine your cuck stepdad, locking your windows at night and trying to tell you what to do. No 15-year-old is going to take it that seriously. And if somebody is sitting over here from Cuckold Nation that is saying, Bose, are you sex shaming him? I've been a teenage girl before, and I would not take my coupled dad locking the windows seriously. Stop bringing weird people in the house and make me dinner. Regardless of the locks, Elizabeth would always find a way out. Now, during the investigation,
I wanted to do no talking flip through, but I need to talk because I don't think Sloan knows what a junk journal is or what is this thing. This is a writing board that you use to write on these junk journals that the pages are real wobbly. You use these writing boards so you can write all over the page. You don't go sideways, So right here I'm showing you how to use the writing board. And I'm erasing what I wrote. And I also wanted to tell you that probably this video is gonna be up before you get the junk journal. I don't think you're gonna watch the video before him because I don't think so. No. 95 followers. I don't think Sloan is one of them. Anyways, this one I laminate this card and I made it special for you. And I put some comic book pages that I think they're interesting and are vintage. This wrapping paper is from Gucci, from the store. And I remember making this junk journal. It was like the second or the third junk journal that I made. It was without recording, and I just enjoyed the process. But I can see now that I'm doing much better than before. You can use those tags to write secrets, or you can, right here on this, you can insert something inside that tag. There's a lot of places you can write. You can remove all the pages, and this is made out of mail that I repurposed with a napkin, and inside has a card that you can write on behind it. So yeah, everything has a space. See, I use a lot of envelopes, and the signatures are attached with what's it called? With paper straws. So sometimes they move a lot. Oh, this bookmark, I made it with embossing metal. Yeah, so everything has a place. So be careful with the straws when you move the pages to put it back on their place, okay? Because it could happen that when you remove one page, all the signature comes apart. The signature is all the pages that go together on one. I don't know how to explain to you without showing you a signature. So this journal has 4 signatures. And I also send you what's a junk journal, the description, the definition. A junk journal is a handmade book created from recycled, repurposed, and found materials like old book pages, fabric scraps, tickets, and magazine clippings. I wanted to do no talk.
Had actually systematically executed his murders the day prior. On the afternoon of July 27th, his father and sister went to their respective jobs.
So, I'm gonna talk a little to explain. There's a lot of secret places you can write stuff or you can move stuff, you know? This is a removable signature, which means that the pages are not sewing to the cover. So you can remove the pages. If you want to work on one page only, you just remove the pages. See this? You just remove the pages you want to take off, work on it, and then put it back. Let me show you. Put it back. Remove the page. I want to write on it, or put a picture on it, or do some, I don't know, whichever you feel like. You can do with it whatever you want to do. Write list, chop a list. You can write your secrets. You can put pictures. A lot of stuff you can do. Then when you're done with the page, just grab it, put it back where you want it. A lot of writing space. Also, you can use this as a writing board because since it's very chunky and it has a lot of little things, it's hard to write on the pages. So you use this little writing board to help you write. You see what I did here? That's his podcast name. Podcast. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Hello, gorgeous. Well, hope you enjoy this. You take it to your travels. You write your secrets on it. You put pictures. These bookmarks, you can use it. You can remove them and use it on your books or, you know, everything is removable because you can do whatever you want with this. Belly band, you can also write on these little secret things, secret tags, the clothing tags. That's how I'm gonna call the video. Clothing tags, ephemera, or something like that. This card also says, let's get into it. When I did this, you were starting with the podcast, so that's a long time ago. I haven't been able to finish it until now. This is removable too. We can take the clips and take it off. It says here the date that I finish it. June 10, 2025. For Sloan with love, Sfhenska. And then these little cards, you can remove them too. And you can also put pictures instead of this card. It's a playing card that I have a lot of them. My favorite show. I don't know if you like it, Sloan. I hope I'm saying your name right. Okay, this is only to look pretty. And then you can write on it too, see? A lot of writing space on this journal. A lot. You can use this as shopping list. These little pages. You can rip them apart and use them as shopping list. Alright. And then one more. Right here. Eating pockets. I made this with a bag. Original. Oh my god. I don't like throwing anything away, you know. So when my son gave me my shoes, I say I'm gonna use the back for something very special. Oh my god, the right hand is the one that I can't open. Okay, there you go. Alright, everybody. I hope you guys like this flip through. I didn't record when I made this because when I make this one, I wasn't recording. So I'm only sharing with you the end results. And I hope you like it. And I promise I won't bite if you come back, okay? Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye. I can't close it anymore. To make sure to put the signature on the side so that way you can close it, because after flipping through the pages, they all go crazy. They went all crazy on me. Now they're not going back to where they belong. I'll put it back. I should remove some pages. This is chunky. Alright, Sloan. Remember to push this down when you're gonna close. That way. They're not on your way, okay? And look at this. You have like a little baggy jumbo. I'm gonna take some picture like this.